What's up, my friend? Abby here, and welcome back to Ask Abby, where I answer your writing questions and help you make your story matter. I feel like a lot has happened since I last did one of these because I've been reassessing my goals for the year. And I always do that at the end of the year. As you guys know, I've talked about this before, my What's Next retreat and how I take time to plan out my whole year. But oftentimes what happens to me is I'll start actually living the year and then I realize, like, wait a minute, this is not gonna work out exactly how I thought it was. Usually that happens because time just gets away from me, or I overestimate how much I can do in a very short amount of time. So I've been changing up some of my writing plans over the past couple of days, which feels very freeing in a way, because I hate feeling like I'm trapped in a deadline when it comes to writing projects, especially something new that I'm writing, that I'm working on. I want to let my creativity just flow naturally. So that means I've been changing a lot of my plans as far as publishing goes. But don't worry, I'm still going to be publishing this year. I'm actually going to publish a couple of different things, so I'm very excited for that. But that's all for now. Tell me, comment below, tell me your writing updates. What are you working on at the moment? How is it going? And let's get to today's questions. I have a lot of awesome questions here that I'm excited to answer, so let's get right into it. Why does your story matter? Good question. What if I told you that there's a science behind every great story? I don't just teach you how to write. I teach you how to change the world with your story and make your author dreams come true. In case you're new around here and you're not sure how this works, here's the deal. You ask me questions and I show up here on YouTube every other week, pretty much, to answer those questions. And you can submit questions two ways. The first way is to hit the join button below this video and post your question in the community tab on my YouTube channel. The second way is to go to patreon.com/Abbie Emmons and get yourself inside the Facebook group and post your questions there. You just have to hashtag your post AskAbbie so that I see it. Okay, let's get to the questions. First question is from Patrick. I need a preface to my book to describe a terrorist organization that's key to my book. I feel like mine is boring and no one would even flip to the next page. How do you make a preface interesting? Well, how do you make anything interesting? Show me why it matters to me by showing me why it matters to the characters. Prefaces are kind of tricky because most writers have the inclination to make them kind of mysterious and detached, but that's a recipe for disaster. And by disaster, I mean your reader not turning to the next page, like you said. Remember, this is your hook, okay? This is your opportunity to grab a total stranger and pull them into your story. You also have to remember that the reader knows nothing going into this. The mysterious, disembodied preface might seem interesting to you because you know everything that's going to happen. Okay, you have this godlike view of the whole story. But what about a person who knows nothing? That's your reader on page 1. So no, they don't want to hear the author describing an organization that's going to be important later on in the book. They want to know why this matters to them, and fast. So that doesn't mean you can't disclose this information at the beginning of your book. You absolutely can, but you have to make it matter to your readers by first making it matter to your characters. Is one of your main characters part of this organization? Or could they be? Or could they be on the inside for another reason? Whatever the case, see what happens if you reveal this information, the same information, but through the eyes of the character it matters to. Even better if you can show us that character's internal conflict. It can still be a little spooky and mysterious, but you want to make sure the reader is not confused, because a confused mind always says no. So that's my advice for your preface. Make it matter to your characters, and it will be the furthest thing from boring. All right, next question is from Amy. Hi Abbie, so grateful for your support in my newbie writing endeavors so far. You're such a gem. Thank you so much. This will be my first question for Ask Abbie. Okay, 2 actually. I just finished the book Story Genius, loved it, and I'm fixing up my memoir structure and scene cards all over again. I've only written 30% of it so far, so I don't mind. Lisa Cron guides writers to nail down the first scene, followed by their aha moment scene first, so I've just done that. But when I look at the story structure I've learned from you, it seems what I've written is more of the victory arc. Lisa Cron means the aha moment though, right? I wonder if I've accidentally written the victory scene, or if she means the victory scene when she's talking about the aha moment. Also, is it possible to have 2 aha moments in a memoir? I had 2 unbelievably huge aha moments in my healing, so it's hard to choose one. I really feel they both need to be in there. I definitely know when my dark moment was, but the aha moment that followed wasn't the final one that actually got me to the victory. There was another aha moment. I could change the second aha moment to the victory, but the ending would be super rush. Thank you so much, Abbie. Okay, so first of all, everything will be a little bit different with a memoir. If you're writing off of your own life experiences, don't be afraid to bend the story structure to suit your needs. Story Genius is awesome, but it is more of a blueprint, like Lisa talks about in the book. So it's great for a writer who has no idea where they're going. But it sounds like in your case, you know exactly what major plot points you're going to be writing about because they really happened to you. So yes, I would write both aha moments and I would make them distinct from each other by showing the different effects that both aha moments had on your life. So as I always talk about, a well-told story follows the natural flow of cause and effect. One thing leads to another. So it sounds like your story follows the flow of dark moment, aha moment, effect that aha moment had on your life. Then something happened to lead you to a second aha moment, which led you to the victory. That sounds really solid to me. That sounds like you know exactly what you're doing. So don't overthink it. Last question is from Sarah. Questions, I should say. You have more than one, but it's all good. I have a few questions about the internal conflict and the 3-act story structure. My 2 favorite things. Can your MC have the same desire in the start of the book and then achieve that at the end? If you have multiple MCs, do they all have to have a full character arc? Could you explain a bit about the flat character arcs? Thank you so much. Love your videos. They've helped me so much. I'm so glad. Okay, first things first. Can your MC have the same desire in the start of the book and then achieve that at the end? Yes, but make sure they still have some kind of transformation. Your main character must change as a result of their journey. Otherwise, they have no character arc and nothing matters. Their deepest desire can still be the same, and they can technically achieve that desire. But something has to shift. There has to be an aha moment where they realize their original idea of what they wanted was actually based off of their misbelief. So basically, by the end of the story, they can still desire the same thing, but they desire it for a different reason now. Okay, and your second question, if you have multiple MCs, do they all have to have a full character arc? No, they do not. It's nice if you can give them all some kind of transformation, but it's not necessary as long as they all have their own reasons for being in this story and their own agendas for doing what they do. They can't just be there because the plot needs them to be there or because your protagonist needs a comic relief sidekick or something. They have to have their own goals and fears. You could also give one of your main characters a negative character arc to change things up. And your last question is, could you explain a bit about the flat character arcs? Okay, flat character arcs are an interesting subject. Not my favorite thing. In fact, I find them totally boring. A flat character arc is essentially a character who does not change at all. In a lot of stories, this shows up as the morally perfect hero stereotype, and they're basically not human because they're perfect. And they just go through the whole story helping people and being nice. It's not very realistic and not very relatable. But there's another option here, and it's the character arc that disguises itself as the flat character arc. Like, most people would look at it and be like, oh, that's a flat character arc, but it's actually not. It's actually a little bit of a character arc. It's what I would like to call a subtle character arc. This is the kind of character arc that you often see in long, ongoing series where you have a heroic protagonist, but they're not perfect. And in each story or episode or book, they go on a journey and they learn something, but they don't have any seriously toxic misbeliefs or fears dragging them down. Now, I really like this type of character arc. It's not totally flat, and that's what makes it engaging. The character isn't necessarily rife with internal conflict, but there's still a transformation. There's still a lesson learned. There's a moral to the story. And that's what I would recommend writing instead of the flat character arc. All right, awesome questions, guys. As always, if you would like your question answered here on YouTube, you know what to do. Hit the join button below this video or go to patreon.com/Abbie Emmons and get yourself inside the Inner Circle group. And there you can post a question for the show and I might just pick yours next time. Smash that like button if you liked this video and be sure to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, because I post writing videos every single Wednesday and I would love to have you here in the community. Until next week, my friend, rock on.